From time to time, the City of Richland will make changes or amendments to the city code. Typically, city staff will discover an issue in the city that for whatever reason, language in the code is inadequate and does not address it, but it is of enough urgency to warrant staff to approach City Council with a request to change the code. Every change to the city code must come by ordinance amendment, and every ordinance requires 2 readings by City Council. Recently, City Council passed Ordinance 1014, which amends Title 11, which is the city's traffic code.
Ordinance 1014 amended Title 11, which is the city's traffic code, and the changes that we made through Ordinance 1014 included a prohibition on extended parking in municipal parking lots or on other city property, and it also included a prohibition on placing large storage containers in the public right-of-way. Each change that we made is unique and really not related to the other. So speaking specifically to the storage containers, code enforcement had mentioned to me over the course of some time that they were noticing that people were using these large storage containers, often referred to as Connex boxes, for extended storage, and they were placing these in the public right-of-way, which would be on a city street where you might otherwise have parking. And the language in our code currently didn't address specifically these types of containers or really have any language that lent itself to being able to have any enforcement around where these containers were placed. So in collaboration with the Code Enforcement Division of the Richland Police Department, we talked about what it needed to look like in order to be able to regulate the placement of these storage containers, because they're quite large, and if they're left in the street, obviously they can pose site obstruction issues, they can pose public safety issues from a standpoint of children climbing in them, playing on them, falling off of them, and so we really wanted to be able to keep them off the city's right-of-way. The other issue stemmed from an ongoing concern with excessive extended stay parking on city property. And there are really 2 prongs to this particular issue. The first one being that the Parks and Facilities Department had recognized that there were individuals who were storing or staying on city property and using the facilities, the parking lots down by the rec center or by the marina as an RV park. And that's really not what those lots are designed to do. We don't have the capacity to absorb the impact of extended stay parking from an RV perspective. And so the remedy was to try to minimize the ability for individuals to stay for extended durations of time, but not limit it so much that you still can't enjoy the amenities that the city provides. So the compromise that we made and the change that we made to the code involved a 24-hour maximum stay without a permit. And there are opportunities to acquire permits from the city if you have a programmed event and there's going to be camping and there's going to be a basis to have an extended stay. The other component to the parking piece was the uptown, and it's been an ongoing issue for years about individuals deciding that they're going to try to sell their vehicles in the uptown parking lot. Again, that's a parking lot that is owned by the city, and council has consistently received complaints from citizens related to that parking lot essentially turning into a used car sales lot, and that's totally understandable. And so in looking at the situation, it seems like another way to get at the issue is to regulate the duration of time that any vehicle can stay, and then to allow exceptions for those businesses in the uptown who have a fleet that's connected to the business that has a basis to stay longer.
Ordinance 1014 is effective on all municipal parking lots. So the Parkway and 3 Margaritas parking lots are affected by this ordinance. Remember, it's a 24-hour limit and not a no overnight parking rule. The city does not want to discourage residents who frequent taverns at the uptown and decide it is best for them to leave their cars and find an alternative way to get home. We always support people being safe. Please do not drink and drive.